Hey guys, Justin Diabetic here, and today we are going to talk about my 770G. For those of you who've been following along for a while now, I've been having an issue with my transmitter. Well, this past week on Wednesday, at the time of this filming, it is Tuesday of the week after, so about a week ago, I received my replacement transmitter from Medtronic. I did start auto mode back Monday before it arrived, so I had a couple days for auto mode to start getting acquainted to me again. And then Friday, when I did my site change for my sensor, I went ahead and I activated the new transmitter and got it going. I'm still kind of having the same issue that I had before. However, now it's only happening about once a day, which I can kind of deal with. So with all that being said, a lot of you asked if I was going to stay in manual mode or if I was going to go back to auto mode. So in this video, I'm going to kind of compare my pros and cons of each, and then give you guys kind of my decision of what I'm going to do. So let's get started with this video. Alright, so you might be considering an insulin pump. The biggest thing for you to know, I talk about manual mode and auto mode. Those are Medtronic pump operating systems. So manual mode is like a basic insulin pump, Omnipod, and then I believe a Basal IQ with the Tandem T-Slim, all use what Medtronic calls as manual mode. So basically what you're doing is you are setting a set rate of insulin for your pump to administer to you every hour of the day. Each hour can have a total amount of a totally different amount of insulin, but your endocrinologist will kind of help you set that up with the pump trainer for the pump manufacturer that you have. And then basically your pump continuously gives you that insulin. It does not change. Some pumps, I know Medtronic does, and I do believe that the T-Slim does, they have a suspend before low feature if you're using a CGM or a continuous glucose monitor. And what that does is if the CGM is noticing that your blood sugars are getting to a certain threshold, it will stop delivering insulin for X amount of time to give your body time for that low to resolve itself and your blood sugar rise back up to a safe level. For Medtronic pumps, that's typically a maximum of a 2-hour window, and then the pump is going to resume insulin delivery. If your blood sugar rises back up to a safe level before then and the pump feels it's okay to resume insulin delivery, it will do that. So that's basically manual mode. The user is responsible for doing correction boluses and your food boluses. So for example, if I'm going to eat something, it's about 30 grams of carbs. I think based on my carb counting, I'm going to program my pump for that 30 grams of carbs about 15 to 30 minutes before I eat. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different time preference. Those are mine. So I'm going to program for that and give the insulin time to start working in my body. Then after I've eaten, at 2 or 3 hours down the road, after I've eaten, I notice that my blood sugar is still high and I don't have any active insulin left in my pump. That's the insulin that was given to me for that food item. Then I can do a correction bolus. So basically your pump will also be programmed to say, hey, my blood sugar is 180. I need it to come back down to my target, which in manual mode for me is 100. So how much insulin does the pump want to give you to drop that 80 points from 180 down to 100 to be back within the range target? So for me, I believe that's like 6 to 8 units, somewhere around there. I believe 1 unit drops me about 10 points, so it's probably closer to 8, but it does vary based on everybody. Everybody's insulin needs are different. So then I will take that correction and then check my sugar again a few hours later, and it should be within range around 100 where I would like it to be. If not, then I'll have to do another correction. Everybody's different. That's the big picture of how manual mode works. Medtronic's auto mode functions as an automatic kind of like the cruise control, the adaptive cruise control on your car. If you do have a car or you know of a car that has that, if your sugar's high, basically if there's no cars in front of you, the pump's going to maintain its speed with an algorithm of what amount of insulin that you can take, and it's going to try to get your blood sugar down. Then when your sugar is within range for the Medtronic 770G, target is 120. So if my sugar's around 130, 120, it's going to slow down that insulin to kind of not cause me to go low, but also to try to prevent me from going back high. If for some reason the pump accidentally gives me too much insulin, or I take too much insulin for a food item in a bolus, then the pump will slow down the amount of insulin that it's giving me all the way to a complete stop, trying to get my sugar to rise back up to around 120. So that's kind of how auto mode works. It does look at the total insulin on board. That is a setting in the pump, and if it thinks that your sugar is going to start rising quickly, it will start delivering insulin to you. So if the pump feels that insulin that it's given you has now worked its way fully through your system, based on what that setting for your active insulin time is, then it will start to give you the micro boluses in hopes that if your sugar starts to rise rapidly, the pump can keep it under control and keep you within range. Now, some people want to know why their pump's doing that and it continues to drive them lower than what they already are. That's, to me, in my knowledge and my experience, that just means the pump's not set up correctly and some settings need to be reviewed. Auto mode for Medtronic pumps look at the active insulin time, your carb ratio, and I've heard mixed reviews about the insulin sensitivity. However, what I will say, if you are extremely high and your auto mode corrections are not lowering your blood sugar as fast as you'd like, you can exit auto mode, and then your insulin sensitivity factor will be used in a manual mode correction bolus to lower your blood sugar. So you have to be careful with that. If that is extremely high and you take a large amount of insulin, auto mode is not going to be able to stop your blood sugar from bottoming out. So you kind of want to look at your graph on your pump and see, are we having slow rises and slow drops, or are we having rapid rises and rapid drops? Because those rapid rises and the rapid drops can be extremely dangerous because you might not be able to stop that low before you come crashing down. Whereas the slow rises and the slow falls, you do have some control over. So I'm going to kind of give you an idea. So this is a 12-hour look back on my graph. So as you can see on here, hopefully it focuses, those are very gradual and slow rises. And then you can see right here towards the end, I took 2 boluses for dinner. One bolus was for my main entree, and then the second bolus was for the little bit of dessert that I did have. And then as you can see, since I took that second bolus after I had eaten the dessert, I did rise up to about 190, and then I came right back down, and now my sugar is at 148, which is okay for this time of the evening for me, and I will be up for a little bit longer, so I should be good and stay within range. So there's pros and cons of each system. For me, personally, I like auto mode, and this is why. I work a shift work rotation. I work 5 days on, 5 days off, and I work a mixture of 3 different shifts. So I can start my day anywhere from 2:30 a.m. in the morning, or I can start my day for my latest shift at 4 p.m. getting ready to go to work at 6 p.m. and then working all the way till 4 a.m. in the morning, because I do work 10-hour shifts. So auto mode is my favorite option, just because I have those variables with my shift work. I have worked really hard on narrowing down the time window in the afternoon of when I eat dinner. Typically it's between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. That's the window to where I do all of my eating for the day. If you have been following along on my keto diet journey, I'm kind of doing intermittent fasting. Most days I typically fast about 22 hours, and then I can kind of eat dinner and a little snack if I want to, if I'm still hungry after dinner. So in doing that, I've optimized when I eat, so that way I can always kind of have auto mode on a similar system. But the difference is I might be awake later at one night than I will be the next night. So at the time of this recording, I'm going to be up late tonight in preparation for the shift that I have to work tomorrow, 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. So auto mode kind of works best for me on that because it's trying to just focus and manage my insulin delivery to keep me around 120. Whereas when I was in manual mode about a month for the past month, it's set up on one basal rate, and I can't keep constantly changing different basal rates based on what my work schedule is. If I had a work schedule that was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, like most people, manual mode would probably be amazing. So for me, one of the main pros for auto mode is it's very flexible once you get the system tuned into your needs and your lifestyle. But one of the cons for auto mode, and this is where manual mode excels, is auto mode is very cautious. It's very cautious with the insulin that it gives you, and it can be content with your blood sugar less than or 150 and below, and it's content with your blood sugar right around 100, a little less, but most of the time your blood sugar is going to be slightly above 120. So for some people who've been on manual mode or some type of insulin pump system for a long amount of time, your A1C is going to be higher with auto mode because the pump is more cautious. So based on what my CareLink data has been saying for my time in manual mode for the past month, my estimated A1C is about 6.2 to 6.3. Could be a little bit lower. That's based on my time in manual mode because I have tighter control over my diabetes. But with auto mode, the A1C results that I've typically been getting have been about 6.9 with my actual lab reports. I think now I might be able to get it down to about a 6.7, but with the 670G and the 770G with those blood glucose targets of about 120, I don't think you're going to be able to get your blood glucose, or your A1C much lower than about a 6 point, maybe 6, maybe if you're lucky. So I'm kind of hoping with the 780G that lower target of 100 would help at least me get my A1C below 6.5, hopefully 6.3. I would personally enjoy that. So that's kind of, I'm sticking around. I'm going to use my free upgrade from my 770G to the 780G software when the FDA approves that, and hopefully I can get it very quickly from Medtronic and review the whole process and share those videos with you sooner, so that way hopefully they help you. But that's kind of the pros and cons of each. I have noticed, based on my logbook for my diet that I've been doing, I am using a little less insulin in auto mode. That's a little funny to me because my max basal rate was about 3 units an hour for the evening hours of the day in manual mode. And in auto mode, you can see on my CareLink reports that it ramps up to about 4 units of insulin an hour for several hours throughout the day. But then typically within my day, it's not hardly giving any insulin because my sugars are stable and steady. So it kind of offsets. So in manual mode with about 40 grams of carbs and a couple correction boluses, I was using about 80 to 90 units a day over the past month. Sometimes if I ate less, it would be less. So let's say 70. And then in auto mode, over the past week of getting auto mode back dialed in, I've been seeing insulin usages between 60 units a day and about 80 units a day. So a little, I would say about 10 to 20% less insulin usage. Some of you guys are math experts. I am not, so that's just a rough ballpark for me. I did have my first day today at the time of this recording of 100% time in range. I believe I might have bumped out of that just for a little bit earlier when my sugar rose, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked back at my phone to confirm that. So that's kind of the pros and cons of manual mode and auto mode. If you guys have any questions about my 770G or anything like that, don't hesitate to drop a comment below or shoot me a message on Facebook. I would be happy to help. So yeah, that's kind of that. If you have a video or something that you'd like me to make a video on, or a way that you think I could help, let me know. I'm kind of running out of ideas for the pump altogether, so I would be happy to try to get some ideas from you guys and work on those videos. So until next week, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend if you're watching this when it comes out on Friday. If not, have a wonderful week whenever you do watch it. And if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful week. Bye, guys.